Hi, I'm Zuri, and I just wanted to make a video reflecting on the artist DMX and his passing a couple of weeks ago. I was really affected by it because I have always been a huge DMX fan ever since I heard the Rough Riders anthem. I was a huge fan of Tupac and Biggie, so it was nice to have someone, not replace them, but just something come along that just reminded me of their style and just, I don't know, just their gangsta, I guess. And it was just so exciting and new and fresh, his music. And I love this music so much that his song, Ain't No Other Cats, I wanted to have that song play at my wedding one day. I used to always say that when I was, maybe I was about 19 years old when I came out. I don't remember, 18 years old, somewhere around that. But anyway, I just love this music so much. And I just have always been listening to him, never stopped listening to him up until now, you know, so it really tore me up. I was actually crying a lot about it. And I don't think I've been as sad about someone, a famous person dying since Aaliyah died, I think. That's as far as I can remember. Yeah, so I watched his memorial service and I've been watching his videos the past few weeks, just reflecting and just trying to take up as much as I can. And there's one particular video that stood out to me the most. And that is the video he has where he's on this ride called the Slingshot. And he's with one of his daughters on this ride. And it's a really scary ride for a lot of people that don't know what it is. Just look up the video and you can see a lot of different people having reactions, the videos to them being on the ride. And the video with DMX stood out to me a lot because when he's on the ride with his daughter, she's like scared. As soon as they take off, she starts freaking out, and he immediately he turns into dad mode, and he's just reassuring her. He's like, I'm here, it's okay, I'm here, I got you. And it's just, I thought it was just one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen. It was just, you know, I never really had a father growing up, so I've never known what that's like to have a male figure, you know, looking out for me like that. But the thing that made it significant to me, and what I want to talk about right now, is how it reminded me of just life in general. And just a little background about me. A few years ago, it was probably about 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago, I lost one of my friends. He was only 21 years old. He died unexpectedly. And it was just really hard for me to deal with and cope with because I had never lost a friend before. I lost my mom when I was 15 years old, but I had never lost one of my friends. So it was just different. And it was just, with my mom, I knew she was going to die because she had cancer. But for him, he was only 21 years old. He was so young, had his whole life ahead of him. He was a great person. Like a lot of people say, when people die, they always say, oh, they were such a great person. But he really was a great person. He was just like one of the nicest people you could ever meet in your entire life. The whole time, I didn't know him very long, but we hung out with each other for about 4 months. And that was shortly after I moved to Portland. So he was like one of the few friends that I had here. And the whole time I hung out with him, I never heard him speak badly about anyone. He reminded me of my grandma in a way. He would just sit and listen, and that's what she would do, just listen. But, you know, not really respond to something that you're going through, just listen to you. And I just never heard him say anything bad about anyone walking past or just in general. He was just a really nice, big-hearted person. And it stunned a lot of his friends when he passed away. We were all in shock. And so after that, I've always been on a spiritual journey. I think most of my life, I think a lot of us are, but I've just really been trying to find out the meaning of life and the purpose of life. And I started to have all of these synchronicities. It's like we just have these weird coincidences happening. So I just looked it up and I found a book about it called The Synchronicity Key by David Wilcox. And I read that book and it led me to another book called Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. And that book, it just talks about, he's a hypnotherapist. And I believe he was just a regular psychologist, or I don't remember his background because it's been years since I read that book. But he may have just been a regular therapist. I know he's a doctor. And he was hypnotizing someone, and when he hypnotized them, they regressed to the afterlife. And this has happened to more than one person. There's several books that have been written about this, which is really weird because no one ever really talks about this, even though these books are out here and they've been out for a while. So I read this book and he just talks about life and, you know, the purpose and the meaning of life. What we all want to know, right? Trying to figure out why are we here. In his books, he talks about the afterlife being, he calls it the spirit world. So everyone lives in the spirit world, and they have different soul groups and different soul families that they have, and they make this journey to the earth for many different reasons. And for the most part, in his book, he says that it's for growth. And not just his book and other books that I read, it's just a growth for the soul, because you just always keep expanding and growing and learning. And in this book, before you come here, you know what you're going to do. You have ideas of what you want to do, people that you're going to connect with, and, you know, just different things. And I don't think it always works out as we plan, but in his book, he says that you actually choose your parents and your family, which is like, to me, I'm like, oh my God, why would I choose my family? Because I'm like the black sheep of the family. I'm like, I didn't get that because, yeah, but, you know, I don't know. I believe there's some truth to some of it. I mean, I don't really believe anything 100%, but I do believe that there may be some truth, just because it's in a lot of different other texts that I read. So you come to the world and you pretty much have amnesia. When you're born, they erase your memory like a computer hard drive, completely erase it. You don't really have any memories of your past lives, because that would just be overwhelming too, because we have had many lives. So you come back and you have no memory, and you're in this world. And in this world, you just feel sometimes people might feel like they're alone when they're going through things. I know I feel like that sometimes. Sometimes you just feel like no one understands you, like you're just alone. You come into this world, you're in this journey, and you're like DMX's daughter on that ride. You're like, I'm not ready. And then you get here and you're like, you know, you're freaking out. But the whole time that you're there and you're freaking out and you're thinking that you're all alone, I believe that God is always with you. The source, God, whatever you like to call it, it's always with you. And God, I'm going to refer to him as a him, because that's how most of us refer to God, as a he. He is like a father, like DMX in that video. He's always by your side, always there reassuring you, but you just can't hear it. It's like this small, still voice. You have to just be quiet sometimes. And I guess that's why people suggest that we meditate, so that we can hear the still voice that is deep within all of us. But God is omnipresent and omnipotent. So God is all-powerful, all-knowing, and everywhere. So if God is everywhere, God is with you all the time. Even when you're struggling, you're going through hard times and difficult times in your life. And sometimes you may wonder, like, why, if God is with me, why is God allowing me to suffer and go through these difficult times? And the reason why is because we have free will. And we wouldn't really grow or learn if God was doing everything for us. We can't ask for help, but we have to ask for it, and it has to align with our purpose and that we came here to fulfill. So you may not always get what you want, but you can get what you need in this life. And another reason why we come here is also to pay karma. When people do things to hurt other people, once they're in the spirit world, they realize that what they did was wrong, and they want to make amends in a way with that person. So they decide to come back and reincarnate with that person and be in a situation where they can pay the karma back for whatever it was that they had done. So that's what he says in the book. And it's just, we have, in our lives, I believe, in the spirit world, I believe that everything is perfect. As perfect as can be. And I believe that is why we come to this planet Earth, because we want a challenge. And there's many other places that people go, dimensions and planets, and they say one reason why people come to the planet Earth is because it is very challenging. It's like one of the most challenging missions that a soul can have. So if you are here, then you are a very, very strong soul and very brave to come here, because it is a very difficult planet. Because we have free will, it makes it difficult it just makes it more harder for us. We not only we have free will, we have amnesia. We don't remember anything, because as one writer, she's another hypnotherapist, Dolores Cannon, put it, it wouldn't really be a test if you knew all the answers to the test. So I like that analogy. I thought that was a nice way to put it. But we come here to learn and just have experiences, and then we go back home and reconnect with our families, our spirit groups, our soul groups. But we can always be there for people that we love, even though we're not physically with them. We can still connect with them. And even though you can't see someone or see anything around you, there might be a lot of things going on around you that you just can't see. I believe that you are not alone. I believe that everyone has, in this book he says everyone has a spirit guide. I believe that, and that you can ask them for help. But yeah, the ride with him and his daughter, it just reminded me so much of that, of God, and just how much he has us and loves us and is there for us and supporting us along the way of this really scary and rough ride, no pun intended, that we have on this planet. I believe that he never forsakes us. He's always with us, no matter what we're going through. We're not going through anything alone. And he is holding our hand in that same way that DMX held his daughter's hand. And then one day when we pass on and we're gone, it's going to be like the end of that ride, where it's just like, you know, where things just back to how it was before, where, you know, it's just not, all the excitement is over and it's just back to what it was. So just remember that when life gets rough and difficult. And if you want to learn more about this, I would recommend checking out Journey of Souls by Michael Newton and Dolores Cannon. I think her book, I forgot the name of it. It's something with soul in the title. I can't remember. I have to find out. But those are both two good books to read. The Law of One is another one. And yeah, so just remember that when times are rough, if you can quiet yourself and go deep within, you can feel God there. You can find him. You know, the Bible says, seek and you shall find. And even Jesus says it in the Bible that the kingdom of heaven is everywhere. It's all around you. So the kingdom of heaven, you think of God being in heaven, right? So God is everywhere. And as crazy and as scary and sometimes dangerous this life may be, we just got to remember that it's just a journey. It's just it's just a trip, because you are eternal. Your body may not be, your body may not be always here, but your soul will always be around. You're eternal and you cannot die. And this is not the reality. Reality is the other life. This is almost just like the ride. It's just, you know, it's just this short experience we have here. Life is so short, you know. It's just, that's just all I want to say about that. I just thought it was beautiful and touching. And I just think that DMX seemed like he was a really good father, judging by that video. And it's really sad. My heart goes out to his family. Rest in peace, DMX. And my condolences to all of his children and his fiance and all his family and just friends and everyone. We're all of his fans, we're all grieving with you. We're all mourning with you. We got to know him through his lyrics and through his words. We got to know him. He just seems like he was a really down-to-earth person. And that's really rare to come by in the world of celebrities, because so many of the celebrities are so full of themselves. So to find one that's actually humble is just a gem. It's a really rare gem, and he will be missed forever, you know, in my mind. I'm always going to remember him and play his music and keep his memory alive, you know, and I know everyone else will. And I'm going to be inspired by what he did with his life and be inspired by his words, be inspired by his life, and inspired even by his death, because you can find inspiration in anything in life, even if it means for you, if you are dealing with addiction, and you know, that might be a wake-up call for you. For some of you out there, that may be, it's time to make some changes. So you can find inspiration in everything, even the, you know, the weirdest places, and I think that is what he would want. So I'm going to not let his death be in vain, and I'm going to use it to try to do something good in his world. I will. Thank you, DMX, for your music. Thank you so much for your prayers, your sharing your talents and gifts with us, and words like this. Namaste.